Hey, this is Rich over at TVP Live with another quick tips tutorials brought to you by Photoshop Elements Tutorials Group. And let's jump right in. Today's poster wanted to know how to make a bokeh effect with Elements. Now, Elements does not have a natural way to make a bokeh effect. Some programs out there really do work better with that kind of feature. But unfortunately, Elements has not gotten that sophisticated yet. I know Photoshop has other tools for that. But anyway, the hard way, the old way that I do it here, it works out good, but it does take a little bit, is basically cut the picture up into different layers and then change the blur on each layer. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. I'm going to take this photo of my mother. We're going to do 4 layers. One is going to be just her and the chair edge. The second layer is going to be these chairs and this chair. The third layer is going to be this wall back here and the serving area here. And then the fourth layer will be everything else behind that. So it takes a little bit to do this, but it really works out pretty good. So let's go ahead and cut that up into 4 layers. We're going to take the original photo layer and make 4 copies. We're going to duplicate that 4 times. So we right click, duplicate, right click, duplicate. So now we got 4 different layers. Let's turn off all of them but the top layer. The top layer is going to be just her. So what we want to do is cut her out of the photograph, but we don't have to be too careful with it because this is just a deblurring technique. So I'm going to go to 15-point eraser and let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. We'll just start erasing away everything else up to her edge. We're going to leave the chair. Okay, so now that we have her cut out with the eraser, we're going to go ahead and take the polygon tool and choose polygon lasso. We're going to basically erase everything else but her. So let's go ahead and start down here. Okay, now that we got everything else selected but her, I'm going to double click down here to close and make those marching ants. As soon as I hit delete, boom, the whole background is gone. Now that's the hardest part. The rest of them you don't have to be quite as close to it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn her off, turn on the next one. The next one was going to be just the tables over there and here. As far as she's concerned, we don't have to worry about her as long as we keep the floor. So we're just going to take the eraser and choose that layer. We can go actually a little bit bigger, about 25 point. It doesn't have to be quite as accurate. We can actually just go straight across. I'm going to keep that chair and the edge of the table, come down to the floor, and come across right there. Now, once again, we take the polygon tool and get rid of everything else but those chairs. And we'll hit delete, and there we go. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Let's go to the third layer. The third layer is going to be these walls, this serving unit, and these people back here. So let's go ahead and take the eraser and erase beyond them. And once again, we can go straight across. It's not going to matter. And we go there. Now we take the polygon tool and get rid of everything beyond there. And that leaves us our 4th layer, which we can leave as is, because that will be whatever's left. I'm going to hit delete, and boom. So now let's start playing with the blurs. We got the 4 different layers. First layer is her. Let's leave that one alone. Let's go straight to the second layer. And let's go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And as you can see, I can change that blur all the way to like way too much and then come back here to nothing. So we just want a tiny bit of blur because it's right behind her. I'd say, see, I'm nudging it up. I'd say about a 1.5. Let's go 1.5. See, it's just a tiny bit of blur, these tables and this chair. I like that. So I'm going to go to the third layer now. And let's go again to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And let's bring that one up. And this looks good right at about 2.0. See that? It's a nice blur. It's only 5% more than the front blur. Now let's go to the very back layer, which is going to be everything else. We'll go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and now we can play around with the background. And here's nothing. Here's like way too much. Let's bring it a little bit less and nudge it to something right at about 3.0. Here we go. Here's the before and after. That's looking really good. I'm going to hit OK. And check it out. We got a whole photo with different layers that have different individual blurs, giving that total bokeh effect. Is that cool or what? Anyway, you can play with all these, make them more or less, and as long as you got the different layers, you got the nice bokeh effect. This is Rich, calling it quits for this tutorial, saying over and out.